What's up, Fiend fam, and welcome back to my Best Bikes of 2021 series. In this video, I'm going to follow up with cruisers and go over 3 more cruiser style bikes that I'd recommend for experienced riders. Keep in mind that these bikes are only based on my personal opinions and that you may or may not agree with them. Let me know in the comments what bikes you think I should have included. Since these bikes are for experienced riders, they will all come in with a displacement of 1000 cc's or larger. Throttle Fiend Edit. On a side note, this video was recorded prior to Indian unveiling the new Chief line. They won't be included in this video, but definitely bikes that I am looking forward to learning more about once the snow melts and test rides become more available. I'm really excited about the TFT gauge and riding modes. Hopefully that's something that other manufacturers, Harley, can consider as well. Back to the video as it was originally produced. First up on the list is the Ducati X Diablo. The Italian motorcycle maker has been long known as a producer of some of the finest sport bikes on the market, and the monster has a cult following that many would love to emulate. Much like the Kawasaki Vulcan S in my previous cruiser bikes video, the X Diablo was derived from its manufacturer's sport lineage. Make no mistake though, this is a cruiser through and through, a powerful, lightweight one at that. The 1262 or 77 cubic inch engine is pumping out 157 horsepower and 95 foot-pounds, even though those numbers are coming in higher in the rev range than most other cruisers, 9,500 and 5,000 RPM respectively. What is interesting to me is that it does it in a relatively svelte 481 pound package. This bike may very well have been created to lure in those who come from a sports bike background but have decided to enjoy some scenic roads and comfort. No matter how someone comes to the X Diablo, it's one sweet muscle cruiser. The rider triangle on the X Diablo isn't much different than other cruisers. The relaxed riding position and forward foot pegs are a staple for the segment. What isn't all that common, however, is the 29.7 inch seat height. While not as tall as most sport bikes and definitely shorter than just about all ADVs and dual sports, this is a little more than the average cruiser rider is used to. Inverted front forks and a monoshock out back allow for adjustment. The 17-inch wheels are stopped by dual discs up front, something that's not found on too many cruiser motorcycles. A 4.75 gallon tank will get you plenty of miles before you need to stop for fuel, and the 6-speed transmission with slipper clutch should ensure smooth shifts. The X Diablo also comes with ABS, traction control, 3 rider modes, and Ducati Power Launch, something the website states will allow riders to have more explosive starts. All this performance and good looks comes at a high price though. The X Diablo Black comes in at $20,000, and the X Diablo S will set you back almost $25,000 large. Look at the bright side though. Next to Harley, no other company has clothing accessories available to make you a true Ducatista. Next up is the Harley Davidson Fat Bob. Sure, it would have been easy to throw the Lowrider S up here since I own one, but frankly, I think the Fat Bob is the best looking cruiser the Bar and Shield makes. Why didn't I get one then, you ask? Simply, the 3.6 gallon tank. After owning an Iron 883 and feeling like I had to stop at every third gas station to fuel up that 3.3 gallon tank, I didn't want to jump to a much bigger engine with basically the same size tank. The ergonomics of the Lowrider S fit me better as well. The Fat Bob is one mean looking bike headed up by that horizontal LED headlight. People seem to love it or hate it, but I'm one of the ones that thinks it looks amazing. The whole bike just has this very chunky feeling to it, and I'm a fan of the styling. The M8 114 cubic inch engine produces 94 horsepower and 118 foot-pounds of torque, and that's before you get into opening it up with any aftermarket parts. At 676 pounds wet, it's definitely living up to its name, but it's a nimble beast with 31 and 32 degree lean angles on the right and left respectively. Even though it's got 16-inch wheels in front and back, the beefier rubber makes for a 27.7 inch seat height, and the drag style handlebars might make for a weird triangle for short riders. Harley once offered the Fat Bob in both 107 and 114 varieties, but in 2019 they went with only offering the 114, which I think was a good move. It's definitely on the upper end of the price spectrum at $18,799, but you get a great bike and one that won't ever be confused for anything else on the roads. They all look great, but my favorite colorway is the performance orange one. The Fat Bob is the kind of bike you buy if you want to cruise city streets, then go have some real fun in the twisties. Its stance is so unique that you'll get a reaction out of people wherever you take it, even if they can't understand its beautiful lines. Bonus pick for this section is the new Street Bob. I'm not giving it a full entry here, but HD decided to drop the 114 in it, and only raising the price $400 was a genius move. I love my lower S, but I would have seriously considered the Street Bob if its configuration was available when I moved from my Iron 883. Plus, those paint jobs are just so sick. And what may come as a surprise to some, the next bike up is the Honda Rebel 1100. Considering the Rebel's pedigree is one of the quintessential beginner's bikes, I won't dig too much into it as most are already familiar. Depending on the rider, this bike could be considered as a first bike. How many people do we know that started out on a Sportster 1200? Honda reliability and a larger displacement Rebel and the option for a DCT, all under 10 grand. Honda is specifically marketing this bike towards a younger demographic with a blacked out look, just as it does with the Rebel 300 and 500. The 1100 will fill a nice gap as the CTX 700 has been discontinued. The Shadow line is squarely modeled after a more traditional market, and the Fury is, well, a chopper. I know a lot of riders don't like this particular feature, but I'm pumped that Honda is offering the DCT as an option on the 1100. I don't know why they also don't offer it on the 500 and even the 300 as well. If they're worried it won't sell well, make it a factory order only option. Yes, there's a visceral feeling about rolling your own gears, and I love it. But if by offering the DCT option, it brings new riders or allows experienced riders the ability to continue experiencing the freedom of riding, I'm all for it. The Corvette no longer offers a manual transmission. You gonna tell me that it still isn't one of the baddest cars on the planet, especially in its price range? I don't expect everyone to fall in love with the idea of the DCT. I only ask that you be respectful of other people's situations and decisions. Don't push someone away from owning a motorcycle because you tell them that the bike with a DCT isn't a real motorcycle. If your bike has fuel injection, there's somebody out there who has a carbureted bike who just doesn't like your decision, etc., etc. Remember, one more of us is one less cager. Okay, time for some specifics. The Rebel 1100 makes 87 horsepower and 72 foot-pounds of torque at 7,000 and 4,750 RPM respectively. That high RPM power band is the norm for a liquid-cooled engine, and we should get used to it as it's the way that the industry are headed. The 27.5-inch seat height is about average for the cruiser style and should fit a lot of people. 18-inch wheel out front and 16 out back will make for a stable platform that riders can flick around if they want. The 3.6 gallon tank comes with a 1.1 gallon reserve, which is nice, but I've liked to see a little bit larger tank. The 487 pound weight makes it generally lighter than a good portion of other cruisers at the same displacement. I'm not crazy about the chain drive, but I'm sure it's a way to keep costs down. It also comes with 3 rider modes and cruise control standard. Hear that, Harley? Their Rebel comes with cruise control at 9K, but my lowrider S at 18K doesn't. What's up with that? Okay, and for this last one, I'm talking about the behemoth of the Beltway, the savage of the streets, the titan of the tarmac. Of course, I'm referring to none other than the Triumph Rocket 3. I mean, what advanced cruiser list would be complete without including it? Pretty much when someone says muscle cruiser, this is the bike that almost immediately comes to my mind. I don't know that I'd ever own one, as I'd likely do something dumb, and this bike's not the forgiving kind, but I would love to take one out for a ride someday. With 165 horsepower and 163 foot-pounds at 6,000 and 4,000 RPM respectively, not only is it a beast, but it's a balanced one at that. The largest production motorcycle engine at 2458cc or 149 cubic inches. The production Rocket 3 was recently clocked 0 to 60 in 2.73 seconds. That's insane. The 30.4-inch seat height is a bit taller than most cruisers, but when you have to account for that big power plant underneath, some things are forgivable. The 17-inch wheel up front and the 16 out back help with the seat height as well. Up front, there's inverted Showa suspension made into dual disc stop by Brembo. Both front and rear offer cornering ABS and traction control. The Rocket 3 also offers 4 riding modes: road, rain, sport, and rider configurable. Hill control, cruise control, heated grips come standard on the Rocket 3 GT and is an optional accessory for the R. At 641 pounds dry, the Rocket 3 sure ain't thin, but it's in line with other bikes of this size. All fueled up, it probably weighs in around 680, about what my lowrider S is. Due to its large engine size, 4.8 gallon fuel tank, and 32 miles per gallon average, you'll be stopping for fuel a little more frequently than other cruisers, but when you are on a Rocket 3, who cares? Like most other bikes in this video, the Rocket 3 isn't cheap, starting at $22.5 grand. But then again, if you're looking at a bike like this, cost usually isn't your biggest concern. Okay, that'll do it for this video. If you're new here, I make weekly content on motorcycles and mental health and positivity. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. If you liked the video, leave a like and consider leaving a comment telling me what you liked about the video or what bikes you would have chosen. If you didn't like the video, please consider letting me know in the comments what you feel I missed or what I could have done better. We're coming along to 200 subs, Fiend fam. You know what that means, another giveaway soon. Share my videos and get your riding buddies to share them so I can do another giveaway. I love giving back to this community, and nothing makes me happier than hooking up a fellow rider with some sweet gear. As always, stay shiny side up. Throttle Fiend out.